Armenia is one of the world's oldest countries, a land shaped by centuries of history and legend. But the origin of its name is a mystery that stretches back to the very dawn of civilization itself. For millennia, Armenia has appeared in stone inscriptions, ancient scrolls, and the tales of Silk Road traders and travelers. Yet, the true source of the name remains elusive, scattered across empires, languages, and the shifting sands of time. While outsiders called it Armenia, locals used a different name, one deeply rooted in their own legends and traditions. To uncover the story, we must sift through ancient texts, mysterious inscriptions, and even the pages of the Bible. Our journey begins with a monumental discovery, the first known written reference to Armenia, carved into a Persian cliffside for all to see. The Hayastan inscription, commissioned by King Darius the Great in the 6th century BCE, is our earliest solid evidence. Carved into a cliff in Iran, it lists the lands under Persian rule in 3 languages. Among them, Armenia in Old Persian and Urartu in Babylonian. This is the oldest datable reference to Armenia, marking it as a recognized province in the Persian Empire. The name Armenia likely wasn't invented by the Persians. They probably borrowed it from local tribes or earlier kingdoms. The Babylonian Urartu links Armenia to the ancient kingdom of Urartu, suggesting continuity between the two. This connection is a crucial clue, tying the name Armenia to an even older civilization in these mountains. As Persian influence spread, so did the name Armenia, soon picked up by the Greeks. Greek historians like Herodotus and Xenophon called the people Armenoi and the land Armenia. Xenophon's Anabasis describes his journey through Armenia, cementing the name in Greek consciousness. The Greeks, as usual, tried to explain the name through their own myths, inventing a hero named Armenus as the supposed founder. Though this story is now dismissed, it shows how Armenia's name became part of the classical world. After Alexander the Great, the Romans adopted the name, and Armenia became the standard term across the West. The name passed from Persian to Greek to Latin, enduring through centuries of empire. To trace the name Armenia further back in time, we must journey to the ancient kingdom of Urartu, a formidable civilization that dominated these highlands long before the rise of the Persians. The Urartians built mighty fortresses, their stone walls still standing as silent witnesses to a lost era. Their influence stretched across the Armenian plateau, shaping the region's history and identity in ways that still echo today. Among the many inscriptions left behind by the Urartians, we find references to a region called Arme or Urme. Scholars believe this area may have been inhabited by the ancestors of the Armenian people, suggesting a direct link between the Urartian world and the origins of Armenia itself. These ancient texts carved into stone offer tantalizing clues about the people who once called this land home. Later, when the Persians expanded their empire, they encountered these tribes and lands. In their records, the territory is referred to as Armenia, a name that likely derives from the earlier army. The Persians may have adopted and adapted the local name, using it to describe the entire region. Armenia thus becomes not just a place but a bridge between cultures and eras. Even earlier, Assyrian records from as far back as the 23rd century BCE mention a land called Armani, or Armanum. These clay tablets, preserved for millennia, reveal that the name, or something very close to it, was already in use thousands of years ago. The continuity of this name across different empires and languages is remarkable. The similarity between these ancient names and Armenia is striking. It suggests a thread of identity that has persisted through centuries of change, conquest, and cultural transformation. The name has evolved, but its roots run deep, connecting the present to a distant, mysterious past. Some historians propose another intriguing possibility, that the name Armenia is linked to Aramu, the first known king of Urartu. Aramu's reign marked the beginning of Urartian power, and his legacy may have left an indelible mark on the region's name, echoing through the ages. When we look at these overlapping names, Arme, Armani, Aramu, we see more than just words. We glimpse a tapestry of history, woven from the stories of tribes, kings, and empires. Each name is a fragment of a much larger puzzle, hinting at a shared origin that predates written history. Ultimately, the true origin of the name Armenia may be a complex blend of tribal identities, legendary rulers, and the ever-shifting languages of the ancient world. It is a name shaped by myth and memory, by conquest and continuity, a name that still resonates across the mountains and valleys of this ancient land. Armenian tradition offers its own explanation, found in the writings of historian Movses Koronatsi. He claimed the name Armenia comes from Aram, a heroic patriarch and descendant of the legendary Hayk. Aram was said to be a warrior king who defended and expanded his homeland, earning fame among neighboring peoples. According to this tradition, outsiders named the country after Aram in recognition of his valor. While historians see this as myth-making, it gave Armenians a sense of pride in the name used by the world. The biblical land of Ararat and the figure of Aram in ancient texts further entwined Armenia's name with sacred history. These stories helped solidify Armenia's place in the Judeo-Christian imagination. While the world calls this ancient land Armenia, those who call it home know it by a different name, Hayastan, the land of the hay. This is not just a word but a living connection to their roots, echoing through centuries of tradition, language, and memory. For Armenians, Hayastan is more than a label on a map. It is a declaration of identity, a name that carries the weight of their ancestors' dreams and struggles. The origin of this endonym is deeply woven into legend. It comes from Hayk, the heroic archer and revered patriarch who, according to Armenian tradition, led his people out of oppression in Babylon. Hayk's defiance against the tyrant Bel is not just a story but a foundational myth that has shaped the Armenian spirit for millennia. His courage and leadership are celebrated in countless tales, songs, and works of art, inspiring generations to value freedom and resilience. Hayk's legendary victory and the establishment of a new homeland in the shadow of Mount Ararat became the very core of Armenian identity. This narrative is passed down from parent to child, teacher to student, reminding each generation of their origins and the sacrifices made for their homeland. The story is not just history, it is a living part of Armenian culture, shaping how people see themselves and their place in the world. The name Hayastan, unlike the externally given Armenia, is rooted in national myth, pride, and self-perception. It is a word that Armenians use among themselves, a term that binds them together through shared heritage and collective memory. Every time it is spoken, it reaffirms a sense of belonging and continuity with the past. Hayastan symbolizes resistance, independence, and a direct lineage from a heroic ancestor. It is a name that has survived invasions, empires, and centuries of change, always returning to the story of Hayk and the enduring will of his descendants. Through wars and peace, the name has been a rallying cry for unity and perseverance. The legend of Hayk's battle and the naming of Hayastan is central to how Armenians see themselves. It is retold in churches, celebrated in festivals, and immortalized in art and architecture. This story is not just about the past, it is a guide for the present and a hope for the future. Hayastan is a name born from struggle and freedom, not imposed by outsiders but chosen by the people themselves. It is a testament to their enduring spirit and their determination to define their own destiny, even in the face of overwhelming odds. In contrast, the name Armenia reflects the perspectives of empires, foreign chroniclers, and distant lands. It is the name found in ancient Roman, Persian, and European maps, a name shaped by outsiders' views and histories rather than by the people themselves. The existence of these dual names, Hayastan and Armenia, reveals two sides of Armenian identity. One is internal, mythic, and deeply personal. The other is external, historical, and shaped by the world's gaze. Together they tell the story of a nation that has always balanced its own sense of self with the perceptions of those beyond its borders. The coexistence of Armenia and Hayastan creates a unique dual identity, one that is both deeply personal and universally recognized. This duality is not just a matter of language or geography, it's a reflection of the Armenian people's journey through myth, legend, and the tides of history. Hayastan is the name of the heart, rooted in myth and the legacy of Hayk, the legendary patriarch who, according to tradition, led his people to freedom and established the Armenian nation. His story is carved into the stones of ancient churches and whispered in the winds that sweep across Mount Ararat. For Armenians, Hayastan is more than a name. It's a symbol of resilience, hope, and the enduring spirit of a people who have survived countless trials. Armenia, on the other hand, is the name recognized by the world, shaped by empires and history. From the chronicles of the Greeks and Romans to the maps drawn by medieval travelers, Armenia has echoed through the halls of power and diplomacy. It is a name that has been written in treaties, inscribed on coins and spoken in distant lands, representing a nation at the crossroads of civilizations. The story of Aram bridges these identities, internalizing the external name within Armenian tradition. Aram, a legendary king, is said to have given rise to the name Armenia, blending the world's perception with the nation's own sense of self. Through Aram, Armenians embrace the name given by outsiders, making it their own and weaving it into the fabric of their history. The true origin of Armenia may never be fully known. Tribal names, legendary kings, and ancient empires all play a part. Some trace it to the Urartians, others to the mysterious tribes that roamed these lands long before written history. Each theory adds another layer to the story, reminding us that names are living things, shaped by memory, myth, and the passage of time. What's certain is that the name carries the weight of millennia, marking a civilization at the crossroads of history. From the heights of Mount Ararat to the ruins of ancient fortresses, the legacy of Armenia and Hayastan endures, etched in stone and memory alike. Armenia's dual names are not contradictions, but two sides of the same ancient coin. They reflect a people who have adapted, survived, and thrived, carrying their heritage forward while embracing the world beyond their borders. Which country's name should we explore next? Let us know in the comments.